So, as you're moving about your physical environment and you are seeing things that, for whatever reason, you don't want to see. Maybe there is some injustice that you are witnessing, or maybe there is something lacking in your own experience. Just by living through that, you automatically launch this request for an improved situation. And Source, who knows you and adores you and is you, immediately turns its undivided attention to that request. Now that is something really worth talking about. We want to say to you, nothing that you want is upstream. Nothing that you want is upstream. Everything that you want is downstream. And that's why, when you understand, the creative process says, ask. Contrast helps you to do that. You can't not ask. Step 2 says, Source will answer what you're asking for. Not your work. Source takes care of that. Step 3 says, I must be a vibrational match to what I'm asking for. So that's where your magnificent emotional guidance system comes in. You can tell by the way you feel whether you're upstream or downstream. Oh, we've written volumes and produced hundreds and thousands of recordings and videos to help you to understand about your emotions. And we want you to find the simplicity of the guidance system that you were born with by understanding that when you go with the flow, you can feel that you are. And when you're not going with the flow, you can feel that you're not. It really is that simple. All of you have been practicing the frequencies of your being over a long enough period of time that you have habits of thoughts. That's what a belief is. It's just a pattern of thinking, a pattern of responding, a knee-jerk response. It's the way the world looks through your eyes. It's the way you have learned it from those who have been important to you early on. The other day, Esther said defiantly to Jerry about something that was happening to them, I would never do that to someone. And once she settled down and could hear us again, we said to her, that's not a good rule of thumb. Because you can't stand in their shoes. You don't know who they are. You don't know what they've lived. You don't have their worldview. You are not their inner being. You don't know what their intentions were coming in. You don't know how life has treated them and what they've put into vibrational escrow. And most of all, what they're doing, even if it's to you, is not any of your business. Did I hear that right? They're doing it to me, but it's not any of my business. And we say, well, the problem with making what someone else does your business is that you have no control over what they do, how they think. But you do have control over what you do and how you think. So if you can get to the place where you can stay in alignment with who you are and everything you want, regardless of what someone else is doing or any other factor, now you understand the art of allowing. The art of allowing the well-being that I've been asking for to flow to me. It's a very conditional love that most people live. Most people look out and they see these conditions and they like them, and then they see those conditions and they don't like them, and then they say, we've got to control the conditions so that there are more that we say yes to and fewer that we say no to. And we say, the problem with that way of going about it is that this is a world that is based on attraction. It's an inclusion-based universe, which means if I see something I want and I say yes to it, I include it in my vibration. If I see something I don't want and I shout no at it, I include it in my vibration. And by including those things I do not want in my vibration, I hold myself in resistance, not only to what I want, but to who I have become. And that's why I'm so angry at that person. I feel terrible because I am using that person and what they've done as my excuse to not allow myself to be up to speed with who I really am. So a really good thing to write down, a good thing to remember often. If you are ever in a situation where you are feeling negative emotion and you are associating it with someone who cheated you, someone who deceived you, someone who hurt you in some way, someone who abandoned you, someone who you have strong negative emotion about when you think about that person, here's what you write in your book. Write their name at the top of the page and circle it several times as you feel vengeance welling up within you. And then write, what is it that I'm thinking about you that is keeping me from who I really am? Can you hear the power of that? What is it that I am thinking about you that is depriving me of my well-being? That's taking your power back. When you say, look what you've done to me, stop it. And they say, I don't think I want to stop it. And you say, but you must. You're hurting my feelings. And they say, your feelings are not important to me. And you say, well, I need to see if I can find a way of making my feelings important to you. I'll cry louder. I'll sob longer. I'll go into an utter state of depression. I'll kill myself. I know what I'll do. I'll get vengeance. I'll get a lawyer. I'll tell everyone what you've done. I'll get people to agree with me. I'll get an army. We'll get bombs. What you finally come round to understanding is that no matter who they are, your power of persuasion is really not your best effort. Your power of alignment is. Because it is so simple to come into alignment with who you are, and utterly impossible to make someone else do what you think you need them to do. And anyway, even if you can be persuasive enough or influential enough that you can get someone to do what you think you need them to do, now you're sort of in a trap, because now you either have to live a very narrow life because there's just that one compliant friend, or you have to work all day, every day in convincing others to do it your way. And we promise you, you did not come forth into this physical environment with all of the variety, with an attitude that you would take all of the ideas that exist and whittle them down to a handful of good ideas. In fact, the opposite was your intention. You said, I will come forth into this physical leading edge time-space reality. And as I come forth into this leading edge time-space reality, I will explore the contrast, and from it will be born constant, steady stream of new ideas. And as I turn my undivided attention to the new idea, all of the laws of the universe and all of the energy of the universe, the energy that creates worlds, will flow through me and to the creation. So from your non-physical standpoint, you feel no need ever to try to control anyone. And that's why the source within you knows and teaches and lives and breathes what you have come to call unconditional love. Unconditional love says, my connection with source is not conditional upon what anyone else does. My connection with source is only conditional upon my choice of thought, my direction in the stream, my following the call of source or not. And of course, you have free will to focus upstream or downstream. And sometimes, a little upstream is the most natural thing in the world. In other words, you can't live in the world and see what's going on without having an upstream thought. We just want you to know that every time you have an upstream thought, you send off a downstream rocket. And every time you send off a downstream rocket, source energy and the law of attraction begins to respond to that downstream rocket. And your stream moves faster. And the longer you live, the faster your stream moves. And the faster your stream moves, the more it behooves you to turn and go with the flow. Child asked his mother on a segment of refreshment, if you get a chance to talk to Abraham, please ask a question for me. And she was the next person called to the chair, because we wanted to hear her child's question. Ask Abraham why grown-ups are so grumpy. And our answer is, the longer you live, the more you find to fuss and worry about. And you've forgotten that every time you fuss and worry, you give birth to a rocket that source energy helps you with. And that if you would fuss and worry just long enough to know what you want and then turn your undivided attention as quickly as you can toward what you want, not only will you begin to be the rider on this river, this glorious wave that is continually flowing out there on the leading edge of thought, not only will you feel the vitality and eagerness of life flowing through you, but every single thing you've ever asked for must come to you. It is law. But when you get cross current of that stream, it's not fun. As things were happening politically and around the world, many people began to find satisfaction in the television programs that pushed against the current administration. And for many, it was a downstream thought. In other words, it was fun to make fun. It was like, finally, someone is speaking some of what I'm feeling. But for most people, they could not stay downstream while they were watching those shows because it was only downstream from where they were, but there's always something downstream from where you are. You get the sense of what we were talking about? One day, we heard someone chastising someone else about the direction of their stream. Your friends do that to you? That's an upstream thought, you know. So you want to say to them, not for me it wasn't, it was downstream for me. Might be upstream for you, but you aren't in my boat. I'm the only one in my boat. The key to long-term happiness, the key to receiving everything that you're wanting, the key to being the fulfillment of that which you intended as you came forth, the key to being that leading edge being that you were born to be, the key to living life in the way that you said you would when you came forth, the key to keeping up to who you really are, the key to being the physical embodiment of the source energy who is within you, the key to that is a downstream thought. Not the best thought you've ever thought. Just the best feeling thought you can find from where you are. No matter where you are on the emotional scale, no matter where you are, as you put your boat into the river, as you reach for the best feeling thought you can find, that's got to help, yes? And if you keep doing that, before you know, you're really going with the flow. You are hearing the call of Source. So what does the call of Source sound like? Harps and angels, surely? What's the call of Source sounds like? Well, it depends on where you are. If you are in love and appreciation, the call of Source will feel like ripples up your spine. It will feel like goosebumps all over your body. It will feel like elation. It will feel like laughter. It will feel like joyous exaltation. It will feel orgasmic. But if you are over here in despair or in anger or revenge, the call of Source might very well feel like a little less anger or like frustration. You have to listen for it from where you are. And most important, and here's what we've been leading up to with all of this rampaging, you have to utilize your own guidance system and take everybody else and their guidance system and everybody else and their set of rules and lists of things that you should and should not do out of the equation. You have this boat that you're upstream, downstream, mostly downstream, mostly downstream, mostly downstream. We know that because we've seen you croak. Mostly downstream, mostly downstream, mostly downstream, mostly downstream, mostly downstream. The stream is going downstream. The question is, are you going downstream willingly or are you going with a fight? That really is the question. Because your life will be good. You are worthy beings. You were born to live well. Life is supposed to be good for you. That's just the way that it is. Now, you can fuss and fight that if you want to. But that is the way that it is. And so, what do you want to talk about? No order of business here. Whatever you want, we're happy to address. Your vibration has preceded you. We know who you are. We know what you want. And we know which ones of you will be the best ones to deliver the most answers to the most people. And there is not one question that is present in this room that we will not address fully. But how close you are to the vibrational proximity of the answer will determine whether you hear it or not. Good cover, don't you think? Well, we hear it from you. People say, Abraham, I was at the seminar, I got the recording, I listened to the recording, and that answer was not there. And a week later, it was there. How did you get it onto my recording? It was not there at the meeting, and it was not there the first 5 times I listened to it.